What's up, guys? I'm El Aficionado. I'm back again. This is the post-game report from the USA versus Colombia game yesterday. I've had a full 24 hours to think about it, and I think I've come up with the greatest player ratings of all time. So thank you for tuning in, and let's get right in.
Into one, take England behind Giroud. Competition in the world. No team has won it more than Arsenal.
So yesterday, the United States played Colombia in Tampa, Florida. They played them. Colombia won 4-2 off of a wonderful, wonderful goal from James Rodriguez, a couple of breakaway goals, and a scissor kick that was fairly nice, fairly well taken. The United States had a couple of goals, one through Bobby Wood and one through Kellen Acosta. An exciting game. Can't say that it was not. With 6 goals, it's hard to say it was anything but exciting. But not a game where I really saw a lot out of the U.S. men's national team. I mean, I didn't really see anything that inspired me, that showed me that something different from anyone. I mean, it's a result. You can live with it. Colombia's a very, very good team. There's no shame in losing to them. We move on to next week at Peru. So thank you guys for tuning back in. I'm sorry I'm late, a full 24 hours. I do apologize. My school of low education kept me running around. Psych! I've just been really busy. I wasn't able to get this video out to you. But I'm here now. So get tuned in. Get in on social media, Twitter and Instagram, at El Aficionado. Get subscribed, get liked, and let's jump right into these player ratings. Starting in goal, we had Zach Steffen. I was very pleased to see Zach Steffen starting. I feel like seeing him start over Brad Guzan in a big game against a good opponent shows that Zach Steffen is the chosen keeper of the future for Dave Sarakan. But then again, being the chosen keeper of the future for Dave Sarakan means absolutely nothing. He is an interim head coach. We still do not have a head coach. That needs to be rectified immediately. We cannot get that done quick enough. But Zach Steffen, he shows promise. Last night was not a game you can judge him off of, obviously. My rating, a little harsh, but all in all, he gave up 4 goals. I'm going to go with a 5. Like I said, you concede 4 goals. I mean, that's obviously not something that a lot of is going to earn you high ratings as a goalkeeper. And I understand, like, the first one was not his fault. David De Gea would have been picking that out of the back of the net. I mean, that was an absolute world-class strike from James. Could not have been better struck. But a couple of the breakaway goals, I mean, those were really... He was moving the opposite direction. Maybe he could have done a little better. The one I will follow him for is Borja's scissor kick. I feel like he could have done a little bit better. He got a hand to it, but wasn't able to deflect it wide. I understand that would have been a difficult skill to take that wide. He was moving the opposite direction. The ball was obviously coming. He wasn't able to see it quick enough, but still. That's where he got a hand to it. One to have that strong wrist to be able to push that away. So it's a little bit harsh on Zach Steffen, but he will improve. He'll get better. He'll be back next time. A 5. Coming through the back, we have Anthony Robinson. I love Robinson, but last night he was very, very, very poor. I'm going to go with a 4, and I'm going to be honest, the only reason he got 4 was because of the assist. His defensive duties, terrible. He did not play well at all. He was getting turned. He was getting beaten on through balls. He was getting beaten off the dribble. He was caught out of position so many times. I mean, all 4 of the goals initiated right through his position. He was just very, very poor coming through the back. On the long ball, we played in a corner kick, and they cleared it out, and they scored one of their breakaway goals. It was a long ball. Robinson did not play well. Allowed Falcao to turn, pick his head up, find a pass. Easy finish. I mean, that's on him. Barrios owned him all night. Every time he took him to the line, he was owning him. He was getting to the line, playing dangerous balls in. I mean, even his assist was kind of just a lodge ball. It wasn't a very direct or powerfully played or well-placed ball. So I'm going to go with Anthony Robinson as a 4, but he'll have room for improvement. I believe that he will come back and be a better player, and that he will learn from this experience. Moving into the center backs, we have John Brooks first. I'm going to give John Brooks a 5. I didn't really see anything that inspired me out of John Brooks last night. He allows James to turn on his left foot at least twice, once for that wonderful curler and once for an assist to the scissor kick. I mean, when you let a player of that class get 2 yards of separation on you in your own box, he's going to make things happen. And John Brooks let him have that space. So, I mean, you can't really fault him for the wonder goal, but he does need to be touch tight against a player of James' caliber in that kind of situation. So, John Brooks, I'm going to give a 5. His aerial play was good. His play out of the back was good. So, we're going to go with a 5. Into Matt Miazga, I'm going to go with a 5. He almost scored a horrible own goal right there at the end, right off the top of the post. So, that was lucky for our sake and for his, but he looked like he was chasing shadows out there. When he got on the ball, he played well. When he had a man in front of him, he played well. He didn't really get beat at any point in the game last night, I don't believe, but still, he was not in the right position at the right times to cut things out. He was chasing the game, and as your center back, you can't have him doing that. DeAndre Yedlin, I'm going to give Yedlin a 6. Yedlin gets a 6 mainly because his defensive duties were much better than Robinson. Granted, he didn't get it taken at him nearly as much as Robinson because they found the success over there on that right-hand flank. But Yedlin played well defensively. I saw him get beat by one ball through ball the whole game, but he recovered quickly. Of course, everyone knows Yedlin's blazing fast, so he has no trouble catching up. It's just his end product that's not good enough for me. His assist numbers should be so much better than they are, and his goal numbers even. He gets into these dangerous positions wide, but he squanders opportunities. He plays poor crosses, or he makes bad decisions in the final third. So I want to see DeAndre Yedlin become a little bit more clinical and really take that next step as that outside back that we can rely on. Moving into our CDMs, we have Kellen Acosta. Acosta was my man of the match. I'm going to give him a 7. Obviously, he got the goal. It was a well-taken goal, too. He made a 35-yard sprint, got in there, finished it well. It was a big goal for us, and it was a big goal for him as well. He's not as polished as Tyler Adams on the ball. You can see at times his touch isn't as good, and he will give the ball away. But his athleticism and his burst of speed and aggression are really what changed the game. In the first half, he was really the only U.S. men's national team player that stood out to me. He was making tackles. He was closing players down. He was trying to look forward during a half where we were really beaten in every aspect of the game. But Acosta, I was glad to see him get on the score sheet. He's my man of the match with a 7. Our other center defensive mid, I was none too happy to see him starting, but start he did, was Michael Bradley, the captain. I'm going to go with a 6. I can't really fault him for his performance yesterday. He didn't really do anything wrong, but he didn't really do anything right either. A very uninspiring performance from Michael Bradley. He was solid-ish in possession. I saw him give it away a couple times, get caught, playing slowly through the midfield. He was slow closing down a couple of balls out, but nothing that really cost the team a great deal. But still, in a big game like this, you're coming back for the first time since a humiliating exit last year. I just wanted to see more out of Michael Bradley. I wanted to see something that would prove to me that he really deserved to be in the squad definitively, and I did not see that, so he gets a 6 today. Out on the left wing, we had Kenny Saif. I'm not sure which one it is. I'm going to go with a 5 for him. I like his mentality, his scoring mentality. He wants to take players on. He wants to beat players. He wants to get assists and score goals. I love that mentality from a winger. Unfortunately, he wasn't very clinical with the chances he did get, and his defensive mentality was lacking. Anthony Robinson was being exposed over there in that wing. And he was not tracking back. He was leaving him in 2-on-1 situations, and that's something that no player is going to be able to handle. A 2-on-1 when you have Cuadrado and Falcao combining, or Cuadrado and James combining, there's no outside back in the world that's going to stop that. So I was really kind of disappointed with how Saif left Robinson on an island and left him for dead there on the defensive side. But I do like his scoring mentality. I feel like he will be an excellent sub in the future for the U.S. men's national team. Someone who can bring on in a late game situation, say, go create something, go make something happen. He will have that aggressive mentality to go get it done. Moving into our center midfielder, we had Green playing there. I was very unimpressed with Julian Green. I'm going to have to go with a 4. He had the one shot that was very close in the first half. Made Ospina go to full stretch, and then after that, he disappeared. It's completely missing. I think Julian Green needs to be playing more time in a better club. He's in the second tier in Germany right now. I think that is not good enough. I think for his development, for his sake, he's looking for greener pastures. Because he disappeared. He was non-existent there for much of the second half. I take that back. He initiated the play for the second goal. He made a hard tackle, won the ball back, played it out to Timothy Weah. But other than that, he was non-existent. Even during our little 10-minute stretch of dominance, he wasn't really getting into the action like I would like him to. So he gets a 4. On the right wing, we did have Tim Weah. I love Tim Weah. I love watching him play. I think that he has so much dynamic talent and ability. But he just doesn't get on the ball enough. I'm going to go with a 6 last night for Tim Weah because he played a phenomenal assist through. That ball was perfectly weighted, perfectly placed. Mr. Dilzo couldn't have placed that ball better. Tim Weah, but he just didn't. I want him to demand the ball, be more aggressive, say, I want this ball. I want to take players on. I want to beat players. I want to score goals. He never gets into the action enough. I feel like we always play through the other wing and not Tim Weah's side, which is very disappointing as a fan. Because Weah has the most dynamic potential on the field if you're a U.S. men's national team fan during that game. So Weah 6. I want to see more, though. Then to Bobby Wood. I've never been Bobby Wood's biggest fan. I mean, he plays hard. He gives his all for the badge, but I don't know. I don't like the way Bobby Wood plays. I'm going to give him a 5 for last night. He took the goal well, but then again, I could have finished that goal. That ball was laid on a plate for him. So, I mean, it was nicely finished, but I want to see Bobby Wood gamble more. I want our striker to gamble on crosses and gamble on balls through and play like it's going to get there. I can't tell you how many times I've seen Bobby Wood not make that run. The ball does somehow squirt through, and if he had just been there, it would have been on. I want to see him gamble on that front post run and really, press hard for mistakes, for goals. I feel like he plays through feet too much for a team that doesn't really play their strikers in that way. So, a decent game from Bobby Wood, but still not his best performance. On to the overall grades. I'm going to give the overall team grade a C+. Battled back, took the lead briefly in the second half, but gave up 2 more goals late. You're playing a quality side. That's decent. Team mentality, I feel like, was good. In the second half especially, really committed to the defensive side of the ball and pressed really hard to stop attacks from happening at their source. And during that 10-minute stretch, we did. We looked like the better team. We looked like we could beat Colombia. We were playing passes, and what I liked the most out of that little 10-minute stretch was what I said about how Bradley would drop in and sink between Brooks and Miazga, and they'd split wide and allow us to keep possession and still press Yedlin and Robinson up. It worked, and it worked to perfection. It really created it overloaded the midfield, created numbers wide, and allowed us to play in a couple of good goals. But an overall grade of a C+. You can't really give up 4 goals and get anything higher than that, in my opinion. The fans grade, I was extremely disappointed with the fans. I'm going to give the fans grade a D, and it could be lower. We were outnumbered by Colombians in Tampa, Florida. Extremely disappointing. If you're a U.S. men's national team fan in that area, I would have expected you to be there. Even the American Outlaw section, I saw a bunch of yellow in the American Outlaw section. I was very disappointed. So the fans get a D. The Colombian fans were much louder for 90 minutes. They really outplayed us on our own home soil. So that was very disappointing. And for Dave's grade, I'm going to give him a B+. I like the team he put out, except for Michael Bradley. I liked the formation. It allowed for a lot of change. It basically became that 4-3-3 at times that I was talking about. But then it worked its way back into the 4-2-3-1 that he preferred, I believe. Left Wood a little isolated at times, but all in all, I liked his tactics. I liked the way he double-teamed James in the midfield, and the way that they marked Falcao at the top of the 18. None of his goals came like that, or none of his chances came like that. So I feel like the movement was good. The right idea was there to try to get on the ball and slow the game down, create possession, and keep the ball out of Colombia's playmakers' hands. But at the end of the day, you're playing a team that's much better than you. So, but overall, I was pleased with Dave Sarachan's team that he put out. So this has been the U.S. men's national team post-game report against Colombia. 4-2 loss. James scored a worldie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. We had a couple of moments. Moment of the match for the U.S. men's national team. Either Weah's pass or Zach Steffen after he got beat on the scissor kicks, sticking his tongue out, wagging it around. That was pretty entertaining. But overall, kind of disappointing game, kind of disappointing results. But we move on. Peru next Tuesday. I'll be watching. Come back here, pre- and post-game shows. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Like and subscribe. Get it on Twitter and Instagram. And you have a fantastic weekend. Premier League, come back soon. I'll catch you later.